I was given a crystal that showed me the end of the world and told me that I could stop it. It gave me knowledge to prevent the coming wave of nothing. So I began my work. I made weapons that could push back horrors unimaginable. Monsters to fight nightmares. And if the press is to be believed, I became one myself. I lost everything, and I would gladly burn it all down again to prevent what I've seen. I wonder, sitting here in this cell, who has that crystal now? Do you think it's telling them that they can be a hero too?
Hi, folks. Welcome to Follow the Leader, a podcast focused on telling character-driven stories through a GM-less tabletop games, except for today, where we can all take the lead. You can find us on Twitter and Tumblr at FTLcast. Today we're playing Blades in the Dark by John Harper. For those of you new to the game, here are the few basics. Basically, we are thieves in a kind of magical industrial city named Loom. It is kind of the idea is if Blade Runner and Charles Dickens kind of slammed into each other at the same time with like a lot of noir themes on top of that.
The first time I heard the Charles Dickens bit.
Yeah, me too.
I think late industrial, like second industrial revolution was a big thing for me. So today the group is going to be playing a group of thieves who have been hired to go and do some thief stuff. We'll be using dice to we'll be doing basic D&D stuff, except this isn't D&D. I'm just going to refer to everything as D&D.
I was like, shit, do I need a D20? Hold on.
No. We'll be using D6s to determine the outcomes for solutions. There will be 3 levels of outcome for everything. There will be a failure, a partial success, and a full success. The amount of D6s that people roll on this will be based on the skill that they have in a particular skill, the level of skill that they have in a particular skill. And that will basically give them a greater chance of success. They'll also be able to use a resource called stress, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's stress. To either push themselves to do better at a particular task, push themselves to have set something up in the past to help them in the present, or to resist some sort of negative outcome for a result. And I think that's pretty much it for high-level Blades in the Dark overview. I'm Brian. You can find me at RoomWarePod on Twitter and Instagram, and also on the podcast, The Room Where It Happened. Today I'm going to be kind of running a definitely not a GM-less game for the crew. Set in our world of Loom that we play in our game on a weekly basis. Today, playing with me, we have Dora.
Hi, I'm Dora. You can find me on Twitter at HarpyDora, and my pronouns are they, them.
And Kales.
Hi, I'm Kales. You can find me on Twitter at Citadel of Swords, and my pronouns are also they, them.
And Mab.
Hi, I'm Mab. You can find me on Twitter at Little Lady Mab, and my pronouns are she, her.
Our lines today are things that we absolutely do not want to see are homophobia and transphobia, racism, sexism, violence against children and animals, sexual assault, domestic violence or intimate partner violence, attacks by dogs, and unwanted pregnancies. Our veils, things that we are fine with addressing but will kind of fade to black on, are steamy situations, graphic depictions of bodily harm. Now that that's all the way, let's go ahead and get started. Sorry, I butchered your all's intro, like I usually do.
It's all good. It gives us great crossover flavor.
So let's go ahead and. Do you guys want to go ahead and set the scene? Set the scene first, or do you want to introduce your characters first?
We usually introduce our characters first, so if we're keeping with the.
Yeah, then let's go with that. I would prefer that. So.
Okay. Starting at the top, I guess. I'm playing Hattori Hikari, who uses they, them pronouns. Their alias is Hato. Their playbook is the Lurk. And it says that you earn XP when you address a challenge with stealth or evasion. It's kind of, your typical when you think of a thief. That's the Lurk.
The most thief-like thief.
Yes, the most thief-like of our thieves here. Their heritage is Pigeon Aarakocra, and their background is merchant. They learned how to use fine tools repairing things in their parents' shop. It's since fallen on hard times, which is why Hato moonlights as a thief. Their look is clean and well put together for someone of middling means. It's easier to say you belong somewhere when you look respectable, and then if you're dressed in an all-black catsuit. Their vice is faith. They attend Seshmir's religious study classes every so often.
Nice.
Their belief is do no harm but take no shit, and their drive is leave no one and nothing behind.
Okay. Awesome. And next up would be Kales.
Okay, so I'm playing an elf, and as we all know, as everyone here knows, elves in Loom are an interesting sort. So my character is named, When Every Starfall Brought You to Tears Again, We Are the Very Hurt You Sold, but they go more commonly by the alias Vienna. Like I said, they're an elf. The playbook I'm using is the Spider, which just basically says when you play a spider, you earn XP when you address a challenge with calculation or conspiracy. Their background is the underworld. They grew up on these streets. They are, the way I usually describe them is they're a lipstick and lace gangster, but like Arabella by the Arctic Monkeys if she were a lipstick and lace gangster instead of like a song.
It was in fact a corporeal being.
Yeah, it was in fact a corporeal being instead of a song. Their vice is stupor. They tend to go to dream dens when they need to unwind a little bit and get out of their own head. Their look is, I did a little bit of this already, but they are also pale to the point of being colorless and very, very short. What else should I say? I need to actually write a belief and a drive, but that's what I got so far.
Okay. Yeah. Think about that. We can swing back around into it. Also, yeah. I imagine that they're relatively young as far as elves go. If they've grown up in this city. So they're like river aged. So young for an elf, which is like, some anywhere between like 60 and 30 years old.
Yeah, they're not an old person, not in the slightest.
Okay, and then we have Mab.
So I'll be playing a tabaxi. A black cat, I have a note here, is what if my cat Lucy were a tabaxi? And her name is Crawling Vines, warned by Summer Sun, aka Vines. And the playbook that I have is the Whisper playbook. And her playbook special XP gainer is Address a Challenge with Knowledge or Arcane Power. The vice that she has is Weird. She likes to make spirit charms and wards and sigils to sell on the side to make a little extra money. Her heritage, again, I just picked Tabaxi. And the background, I sort of made up a background instead of using one of the Blades ones, and that's an illusionist or a spiritualist. And she used to, the kind of thing that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was really super into, going to like spiritual mediums and stuff like that. She was that spiritual medium and was really good at tricking people into believing what they wanted to see and hear. Little did you know that people might think it's smoke and mirrors. It was literally ghosts, because that's what she can do. Her look is like black leathers, and she does have like little interwoven small bits of bone and metal. But she has a really ruffly, fluffy gray shirt that kind of like looks like a nice little ruffle in the front, and tight-fitting pants and knee-high boots, all dark and gray and black. And she's a fancy girl, so she's very, very elegant looking for also being kind of a rowdy girl. So,
Nice.
Her belief is never do anything in half measures, never be subtle, and never let anyone else doubt just who left the mess behind. And the drive I was going to work on based on one of the moves that I have, which is Ritual. So just kind of, we can make a Ritual move, or I can just use the one that's there, but, her drive would probably be based on whatever rituals she's going to be performing.
Okay. All right, and so the general, so you can, your ritual, let's see, sorry, I'm looking over the ritual things here. Okay, I need to bookmark that page.
Which also, admittedly, I didn't spend a lot of time thinking about what her ritual could be. I put it down and then I immediately forgot to contemplate my own sort of answer for it.
I feel like we'll get there.
But I was hoping to have her at least have it like prepared ahead of time, so as soon as they're in the fray, that if she needs it, she can use it.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess that brings us to what you guys are doing. So the conceit that we're going with is that you all have been sort of a crew, at least for a little while, long enough to have gained enough renown that people either can come to you with jobs or give you information about jobs, that sort of thing. It is going into summer in the city. Things have been a little upsetting as of late. There have been like a number of sort of like high profile attacks by like monsters in the streets. Churches have been being attacked. The like priests of churches have been being like hauled in by the religious kind of military police of the of the city called the Keepers, for communing with wanted fugitives and allowing demonic contact inside of their churches and everything. Not to mention that the head of the kind of criminal underworld as of late, or the current criminal underworld, Jimmy the Squid, he kind of disappeared and has left a power vacuum in his wake that is threatening to basically turn into like an all-out gang war. And that's kind of where we find you all. You all get contacted by a gentleman. He's a tiefling, which is like for those of you not like well versed in like D&D races, is a person with a background where they're definitely like one of their ancestors a long time ago definitely got it on with a devil from hell. But right now, they are no more different from like a normal person. They just happen to have horns and maybe goat feet sometimes, and sometimes a tail, and different colored skin. He's like an older guy. He's in probably his mid-50s, though when you look into his eyes, he looks like he's, I don't know, a trillion. He has yellow eyes and purple skin, and kind of like shorter, pointier horns. He dresses well, but like he would have been the height of fashion like 30 years ago. So he just kind of looks, which makes sense because he's like 50, so it's probably when the height of fashion that he's kind of stuck in. And he comes to you with a job. He kind of, how does he contact you all?
Where's like our base of operations?
Yeah, that was going to be my next. I was like, where are we?
Yeah. Your base can frankly be anywhere you want. The city is like kind of loosely divided into like three sort of economic sections. The east side, where there's a river, where a lot of the commerce commerce comes through, where there's a bunch of docks and everything, is generally the lower income section of the city. Then west of the river, there's a large section of basically middle income, normal, like everyday folks. There's a lot of retail shops. There's a lot of residency spaces, but very few green spaces in the city at that kind of point. And then further west is sort of the like higher, like the high rises, the things built with like buildings built with magic. It's kind of like the look of the city is if it like a city slowly transitioned from like 1920s London to Dubai. So like on one end you've got like brick architecture and kind of very low buildings, and then on the other end you've got like skyscrapers that twist as they go up, made entirely of glass. So anywhere you guys want, like there's no crime is everywhere in this city. Like, you know, there's corruption. There's a through line of corruption all the way through it.
So how awful would it be if our base of operations were in the basement of my parents' shop?
I'm too fancy for that. Please, I never do anything subtle. I think I have my own storefront. So like I think I have like I have a small business and we can have it out of there. It's probably in like the middle class thing because I can't quite afford high rent yet, but I'm gunning for one of those Dubai spots.
What is your what does your shop sell?
I sell like it's not kitschy things, but they're it's kind of like I was going to say like magical equipment. It's not quite like a store where wizards would go to buy. I'm forgetting all my D&D terms, but you know,
in this world, magic is like a commodified thing. So like one of the things I set up is like you use high level magic to do the most mundane bullshit. Like people will put like a 6th level spell of sunlight into a pebble to put into a machine that makes sun tea. Like that's the level of flippancy
fancy
with magic.
Bougie bullshit. Yeah.
Bougie bullshit.
Bougie bullshit. It's like because she sells like little spirit charms, and I think especially with the rise of like monster attacks, she can now remarket them as like wards that you can put up in your house to be like, the monster's not gonna come get you because you got one of these fancy little doodads hanging up in your window.
Artisanal monster wards.
Yes. Yes.
Right, I dig it. So yeah. So he kind of walks into the front of the shop. I imagine the other two are just kind of milling about because this is the cover facility. And do you guys have like if somebody wants to engage directly into you in clandestine affairs, is there like a code word they talk about, like say that they're on the level, or do they just immediately come in and be like, hey, I want you to steal something?
Yeah, you can pretty much come up to Vines and just be like, hey, I gotta hire you for a job. I need something done. And she'll be like, all right, let's flip that sign over to closed. We'll take you in the back and we can hear you out.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys flip the sign over. You go into the back. He immediately like takes a seat without being asked. He seems very comfortable in this. He does not seem concerned with like he doesn't seem like nervous. This seems like a very normal situation for him. And he takes a seat. He relaxes into it. It's sort of late morning, early afternoon sort of time, and he's like, "So I'm not going to. Frankly, I'm not going to beat around the bush with anything. I need an item taken from a high-profile target, and all of my contacts point to you all as being both skilled and a level of discreet that I need. The target is Stanton Slayton. He is the CEO of the Keyrin Collective. He has something in his private collection, in his house, that I need. It is I'll describe it to you in a second. I don't know if you all are I just want to make sure you all are interested before I get, I guess, too deep into the game, I guess.
Oh, well, I'm interested for sure. I don't know about my compatriots, but
I guess the other thing I need to put out there is that it's a tight time frame, and meaning I need this done. I need this taken care of tomorrow.
Well, here's the thing. There are three choices: fast, cheap, right. You get to choose two.
Cheap isn't a thing that I'm worried about. I have enough
right.
resources to pay to get what I need. I just need what I need.
okay.
Okay. So what I need is I don't know where it is inside of his private collection, but I need it is a large, it doesn't look like a ruby, but it's kind of like a ruby. It's more angular than a ruby. I've only seen it once. Well, I haven't even really seen it. It's been described to me. But I need that from his, I know for a fact that is in his private residence. And that's unfortunately all that I have. I can give you some more tertiary information about the location, but unfortunately I can't give you any more information about the object because I simply don't have it. But I'm willing to pay. Frankly, if you just name a price, I'll give it to you if you can deliver on this.
So when you say tertiary information about the location, does that include like blueprints of the house?
I can get you rough blueprints. Oddly enough, Stanton Slayton doesn't let the blueprints of his blueprints on his house are not part of public record. They should be by city ordinance, but last time when I went to go get a hold of them, they'd been lost at some point, according to the secretary at the desk. But I can get you a rough layout of the facility. That I have. I don't have a detailed blueprint, but I have at the very least a rough layout of his house. Well, it's not really a house; it's more like a compound. But
yeah, that'll work.
Okay, let me go ahead. And so he goes ahead and he pulls that out for you. I'm going to go ahead and post that in chat.
Oh, now I have to change Windows.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to use any other software in my life. So I just drew things. I'm drawing things on paper in real time.
You use Photoshop to make character sheets, but you can't use Photoshop to make a map?
I do a lot of things like fast and dirty.
I know.
That's what she said.
So the layout of the facility is that it's kind of so it's just outside of town. It's on a fairly large plot of land. It's on like about 5 acres, and the house itself is not like it's a completely like at the very least like the front bits are fenced off so people can't just jump in, but it's a little bit ways off from the road, but you can still kind of see the house. The architecture is definitely like Mexican-American Spanish influenced. So there's 2 low buildings and then a much taller 2-story building with a fountain in the middle that cars drive around and such. The 2 low buildings they have like one of them has like large glass windows, and your benefactor will describe to you like I'm pretty sure that there's a pool in that building from like everything that all the information I've been able to gather, because you can easily see into it. The other building, and the 2-story building and the pool building, they have windows on them. The building if you're looking at the photo, the building on the right, it has no windows on it, and seems to be a slightly different kind of build. Like it was added to this facility later than the other. Like the 2 of those buildings came with this property. One of those buildings was added later, and that's like he can give you kind of a baseline, because he says that he's been inside of the house for a couple of different purposes. In the main 2-story building, it opens into a big foyer with like steps and a chandelier and everything that lead up. To one side, to the right side of it is Stanton's. He knows there's a study because he's drinking. He's drinking. He's had whiskey in there with Stanton before. And then on the opposite side is most likely a kitchen, though he's not been in that room, though it is attached to a dining room and food comes out of there, so he's got an educated guess on it. As for the second floor, he has no idea what's up there because he's never been up there. Any other information you all want? And also, like, he's given you just enough lead time that you could, if you hustle, you could maybe gather some information on your all's own. But he is adamant that this has to happen tomorrow evening. He is guaranteeing you that Stanton will not be at the house, and it will give you a pretty large window to be able to get the item.
Yeah. Will anyone else be at the house, is what I want to know. Like guards or...
Yeah, he has a staff on hand. Maids, cooks, house attendants, that sort of thing. He also does have a small security detail. From everything that I've seen, it can't be more than 6 people. Though I imagine there's 6 fairly competent people, considering the amount of money that I know that he spends on his house staff. He's prone to bragging once you get him going. So he's got at least 6 guards on hand. Though they kind of just do more like perimeter patrolling. There's a guard shack at the main gate of the compound that kind of checks everybody in. Though the benefactor will kind of be like, I don't actually know if that guard's there 100% of the time. That may just be for special events. But they do at least semi-regular patrols to make sure no one's coming in from the woods that are adjacent and on the property and everything.
Right. Logical.
How big is this item that you're asking us to steal?
So the way it's been described to me, it's a fairly large crystal that is about... The person described it to me as the size of a good-sized turkey. It's a terrible description. I don't know what that means. Yeah. I would say it's probably about like a foot and a half tall.
All right, so I don't need a dolly to carry it out.
No,
that was my concern.
You won't need anything huge to carry it out, and the way that it, like, I've never laid eyes on it, though the way it's been described to me, you'll know it when you see it. And if you guys come across anything else in there that you decide to take, that is none of my business.
Oh, good. I was just about to ask. What if we couldn't identify the correct ruby and we just pick a few others up along the way? Glad to know that's not an issue.
I'm not going to be sad that Stanton Slayton is slightly less solvent than he used to be.
How many other people know about this? Are we likely to run into any competition?
To my knowledge, no one... The thing that is going to have him distracted tomorrow evening, I don't think anyone else knows about. So I doubt that the building is going to get hit at the very least at the same time, because it would be ridiculously coincidental if like multiple groups showed up there to steal something on the same night. But this particular object in question, it is a very small pool of people who know about it. I frankly can't imagine outside of Stanton, myself, and maybe one other person, and now I guess you all know of its existence.
I hate to ask, is this one of those things where if we know about it and then we turn it over, you're going to have to kill us?
No, I don't plan to kill you.
Oh, good.
Don't
Caveat.
want to... yeah.
If something were to go wrong, I imagine at some point, somewhere inside of Stanton's house, he's got an alarm. So I implore you that if something goes wrong, just take the heat. Say that you were there on your own. You were not hired by anybody. And I guarantee you, you'll be breathing fresh air by the next day. If you say that you were hired by me, maybe you'll have other issues.
Honey, we're professionals. We wouldn't tell anybody that we were hired for jobs.
I know some folks who can be very persuasive when they ask questions. I just want you to know what's on the line. I can pull as many strings as I need to get you to get you out of jail.
Should it happen?
Should it happen. Just know that I can pull them in either direction, and you'll get out of jail one way or the other.
Good. I like the way you talk.
So, do you guys need any more information from him? He says he'll meet you like here, day after tomorrow. He'll come back here and he'll pick up the item, and like he can give you some advance. He can give you an advanced payment if you need it for resources or what have you. But he is full payment on completion of the item or on delivery of the item. And he actually explicitly says, like, if you can get this for me, I will let you go ahead and name your price at the time that I pick it up. This is how much I need this.
Cool. Okay.
You guys need anything else from him?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Explosives.
I can make things explode just fine.
Then I can't think of anything we need.
Explosive. Oh, we've got explosives.
Good.
Oh, well, we're fine then. All right. Well, he thanks you all, and he slips back out of the shop. Actually, he stops for a second, and he notices one of the wards, and he's like, "Actually, let me go ahead and get this, please. If I can go
Certainly.
ahead." Yeah. Good luck, Charm.
Thank
right?
you for your patronage.
Always. And he is gone. So, do.
Same. That's a mood.
Okay. So, you guys have probably, I guess, like, got a little over a day to do any sort of preparations. If you need to, just kind of tell me what you need to do, and we'll suss it out.
I feel like I want to go talk to people.
Okay.
Also so that I can use all of my fucking points in consort right now.
All that consort the hell out of things. Okay.
Consort the hell out of things.
What are you talking to people about? What information are you trying to gather?
I think I'm trying to gather... I can't tell if I'm trying to, like, figure out what sort of shit Stanton, likes to keep, or if I want to figure out about his, detail.
Those are both... So, figuring out how much sweeter this score can possibly be, or not getting caught.
Yeah.
The most thief of choices.
I think
Yeah. So it might depend on what other people want to do. So I will.
Well, I mean, Hato isn't really big on, since we don't have like actual blueprints. There's not a whole lot Hato can do, and as far as pre-prep, because like the thing that they're most interested in is what kind of locks are on the doors, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they would push for finding out about the guard detail to see if any of them can be bought off, or if there are any sort of things that can be done to, like, if they're, let me pause for my brain to catch up.
Yeah, no worries.
Like, who they are as people, like, are they really afraid of spiders? Do we have to, can we cause like things to get them out of the way that don't involve necessarily harming them?
Yeah.
So that's what Hato would push for. Because, like, the dude's loaded. We're going to be able to find stuff. He's obviously loaded. We're going to be able to find stuff to sweeten the pot no matter what.
Yeah, I think more of, like, what I was pushing for with finding out about the stuff that he collects is, how does he treat it? What are we looking for? What are we looking at in terms of, like, how to find this thing?
Like, does he keep things in safes? Does he display his art, like, on pedestals in the middle of the room? That sort of thing.
Yeah, sort of like because we don't really have a blueprint of the house, sort of trying to figure out, like, what's the best place to start with in terms of looking for this thing.
Right. And just to be clear, like, I'm not saying the blueprint of the house doesn't exist. It's just not easily found. Because a blueprint of the house probably exists somewhere. But
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. I just feel like I would have more luck talking to people about it as opposed to trying to go find the blueprint somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys... Okay, so we're going to figure out about... What are we figuring out? Which thing are we doing? Guards? Guards or swag?
I'd prefer guards. I just want to know, like, a really good, solid layout of the building, especially to figure out which in particular building, because we have the one mystery building, and then the pool, and then the 2-story building, but it could be in any number of those. Like, for all we know, he could hide a ruby at the bottom of a pool. So
why not?
Because why not? He's an extra motherfucker. And just kind of, like, determining and as much as we can narrowing down points of entry and possible locations for the score.
Okay, so let's ask about guards then.
Okay. All right.
And the detail.
Yeah. So how are we... Okay, so we're consorting. Who are you consorting with? Give me a basic idea and I can get us there. I just don't know how you want to approach this.
I think probably what this looks like is me going to some, like, bar or tavern where I know that, like, people are no friends of Stan Slayton, which probably, honestly, is a lot of them.
Actually, an easy place to go to. Are you looking for people who are, like, personally have grievances with Stan Slayton, or people who generally have problems with, like, the guilds who run the city?
People who generally have problems with guilds who run the city. Probably people who, like, have worked details like this before, if possible.
Okay. Yeah. So,
I'm not biased. Yeah. I don't need, like, someone who's got a personal grudge against Stanton. I've got enough of one on my own.
So, yeah. And I imagine this is also not the first time you guys have had to carouse a security guard or two.
Right, no.
So you spend a good part of the day pub crawling from place to place, and so go ahead and I guess we need to do some sorting.
Oh no!
One would imagine.
I yanked my headphones out. Sorry.
Oh, you okay?
Yeah. Anything you said was just completely lost, though.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so. All right, so yeah, go ahead and I'm assuming you're using Consort to do this.
Yeah,
okay.
I fucking hope so.
Okay, But yeah, so go ahead. So basically, what you do is you find a lady. She's explicitly she's like a dwarven lady. She kind of has like a faux hawk thing going on, but with like the weird Obi-Wan Kenobi from Episode 1 braid thing.
Yes.
Like a very fashionable version of the dwarves from Warhammer.
Great.
And she is like you actually like when you walk into the bar, you see that she's wearing like she has apparently just gotten off a shift, and she is wearing like bog standard security guard outfit, which is like a black polo and some khakis with like an insignia on it. Actually, it's like it's the Keyrin Collective like insignia on it. So I guess go ahead and give me a roll. Let's see how well you can sort, and then we can suss out what she ended up giving you.
Okay, so I have 2 little pips in consort, so that means I roll 2d, right?
Yeah, 2d6, and you take the highest.
And then, because I have weaving the web, I gain 1d to consort when I gather information on target for a score.
Okay, yep. So that would be 3d6.
So that's
and
3d6.
This is also probably like this is a controlled situation. So
Oh, lovely.
yeah, it's not.
I love that.
I talking to somebody in a bar, and especially like in the middle of the day. This is not like you guys are not in a risky place yet. I don't think.
Yeah, great. And let's just hope that my luck holds out. And my highest is a 5.
Oh, all right. So yeah, it works out pretty okay. So this 5 is a mixed success, right? Yes, that's how Blades in the Dark works.
Yes.
Yeah. It's 1 to 3 is not good. 4 to 5 is mixed, and 6 is a full success. Yes.
I had
I say with
2
the-
3s and a 5, so
Okay. Nice. That worked out great. So yeah, she opens up to you pretty well. I guess your line of questioning sort of like how do you saunter up and start this here conversation? I want to know.
I'm fully turning the charm up to 11 and like straight up flirting it out of her.
All right, that's nice. I mean, listen, she's definitely never been hit on by an elf before. She's definitely had to interact with a lot of them dealing with Stanton. So this is a very good time for her. Do you just like how do you get what is the getting into the line of questioning look like?
I'm trying to. I feel like it's like pretty naturally like asking, sort of like, what do you do? Like, oh, what's that like? I've always wondered, sort of things.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And she she gives up the information. She's like, oh yeah, I work for the Keyrin Collective. I'm on like personal detail. It's usually a pretty boring job. I'm mostly kind of like patrol. Like I'm not. And she's like, well, I'm not really supposed to tell you who I work for, but I work for Stanton Slayton. And she says that in a way like she expects you to have known him. So, which is kind of, I guess, probably interesting. Since most elves are pretty like well connected into like city politics. But
I know him enough.
yeah, Shh, tell me about it. And so she goes through and she can like she's like, oh, have you ever been to his house? And you're like, oh no, what's it like? And she's like, well, it's pretty lavish. It's a pretty big compound. Like me and like 7 other people have to take care of it.
I can only imagine.
And he's got so many quirks. We have to we're it's like 100% one of those situations where we're like not allowed to look him in the eyes when we're on staff, and we're like, yes, Mr. Slayton, no, Mr. Slayton. Like there's no air of like ease or anything when he's like in the house, even though he hasn't been to his. It's like he doesn't even live there anymore. He's not been there for he's been off and on for like the last 2 months, but it's whatever. We've still got to keep people from robbing it, I guess. And she also explicitly says he's got this big pool, and this like huge study, and his like she's like he's got like a closet full of suits that is like the size of my bedroom. It is ridiculous. And then
Who needs that many suits?
I know, right? Like, I mean, I understand that he has to, like, he's got to be fashionable or whatever, but I can't imagine he ever, like, some of these have to have never been worn. And then she also is like, she's like, and there's like this whole building we're not even allowed to go into. Like, it doesn't even have like, the door has like one of those like ridiculous key card locks. Like, we can't even get in there. So, like, how am I supposed to know if somebody's even in there or broken into there? So, I don't know. It doesn't make the job easy, I guess. So.
No, I expect not.
Yeah, what other bits of information are you looking for here? Because she can tell you, like, upstairs. She can tell you what the upstairs looks like. Which is, so on
Yeah, he's got those, like, fancy windows, right?
Yeah, he's got all those big fancy windows. And so on the second floor, he has his bedroom. In kind of like the top right corner, which connects to like basically a like full-sized closet thing.
Is that the suit closet?
Yeah, that's his big suit closet. Also upstairs is like a secondary study, not just like a sitting room, but like a full-on like library office where he does business out of when he's at home. In the upper left corner, and then on the lower left corner, there is like a rec room with like a snooker table and that whole nine. Like basically like a smoking
table?
room.
I'm sorry, what?
Snooker?
Yeah, it's like pool table.
It's a billiards
weird
game.
East Coasters. Never heard that term.
I've literally never played that game. I just know that's a thing rich people have in their houses.
Yeah.
She also tells you that in the like on the lower floor there's like a greenhouse too that is like a pain in the ass because it's got like it's like literally anyone like you can just break through, like it's like the door on the inside doesn't lock, like it's just a normal ass door on the inside, and she's like, this is the biggest security risk to have on the back corner of your house where no one pays attention to.
And why would you have a greenhouse if you don't live in your house?
I mean, he is like so into growing things. He is whenever he's home, he's like doting on these plants, and it's like there are like whole days where we can't go in there because he's put some sort of something down. Okay.
Well.
Okay.
I'm not gonna make a snide comment about Stanton Slayton, but I really fucking want to right now.
Oh, you can.
That's out of character.
Oh, okay.
That's out of character.
So. Okay. So yeah, that's the. And also attached to the pool is a gym.
Why wouldn't there be?
Yeah.
He's a rec room and a gym and a pool.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's rich. He's a fancy boy.
He's very fancy.
And he lives in this house all by himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he, like, to my knowledge, he hasn't ever had a significant other or nothing that's come over. I mean, like, some people come over and they stay the night, but I am contractually obligated not to talk about that.
No, of course. It's just so strange. One person living in this huge house. What could he possibly need all that space for? Well, a collection of suits, but other than that.
His ego.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's pretty much all that she's got going. Yeah. So, do you guys need I think that's about all that you can probably get out of her. She definitely asks for your number.
Oh, I give it.
Okay, sick. Even though we haven't invented cell phones or telephones or anything in this world, whatever. You give
I
her
have a key.
her fantasy,
It's fine.
Yeah, you give her a fantasy number.
Yeah.
And does anyone else want to do anything? Information gathering wise.
Thinking.
Oh, There's an alarm
Making
system.
noise.
She would tell you about there's an alarm system. It is. Yeah, it's your typical alarm system. There's like alarms on the doors. Most of the windows have alarms and everything like that. So he does have an alarm system. I was like,
Okay.
I'm like, oh, I probably need to definitely mention there's an alarm system. I forgot about that bit.
Minor in detail. Taking notes on the back of an envelope because that was all I had on hand. So I'm like,
I was taking my notes in the notes section of my character sheet.
Oh, nice.
It's fine.
I forgot to print it out when I was at work. So, you know.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah. I just want to wreck it all.
Listen,
I just want to blow
there
up
was
his
there was
pool.
no caveat about collateral damage. Just as long as you
Listen,
get the
I'm
thing.
already thinking about how I want to wreck that greenhouse. Just because I can.
Actually, I just realized I'm an Aarakocra. I can fly over and do a survey.
Okay, yeah, you can definitely do that.
I know, I'm just kind of like,
You're a bird.
I'm
it's
a
like
bird.
I can like I want to investigate, like I really want to know the layout of like how the forest lines up around it because
Yeah,
like,
I can investigate that for you. I have
Thank
survey,
you.
and I can do a flyover.
Okay,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So yeah, you do a fly. Like you, I'm not even gonna make you roll to do a fly. Like actually, I think in Blades in the Dark, you tell me what you want to roll, but I feel like there needs to be some sort of roll. So I feel like this can either
Well-
be prowl or survey, whichever one you kind of want it to be. I guess they're kind of one in the same scene. Like, wait, this is the wrong character sheet.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. I would totally rather roll prowl.
Okay. Yeah, because like it's one of those things where you say either you're trying to get information or not. Because like you are going to be flying in the air, and you are a person-shaped bird. So
Yeah,
these are people who have
That's
definitely
true.
run into Aarakocra in existence. Like they know what bird.
that's
people are.
true. That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, since I have two dots in prowl, I'm gonna want to roll prowl.
Okay. Yeah. Go
So
for it.
you know that meme that's like these birds aren't real, they're FBI spy drones.
Yes.
That's what Eric Cochran are to fucking Stanton. He's just like, not another one. I see you. As long as he can
Okay.
have nightmares about birds, that's all I care about.
Oh Jesus Christ! He has like an animated scarecrow that like is like
Yes.
just a golem. It will
Nice.
attack you.
Oof. Well, okay, that's not as bad as it could be. I rolled a 3 and a 4, so
Okay.
the 4 is my highest.
Yeah, 4's not that bad. So you do get some you get some information. So but you get obviously baseline visual information. It is a big house, and based on the description of the rooms that you got, they have to be like there's not a whole lot of rooms. It's just a very spaciously, like kind of spaciously laid out has to be or something. The building that is kind of different from the other two buildings, the one that apparently no one goes into but Stanton, it like is decidedly a different architecture. So like the other two buildings, they have kind of like a low slant to their roofs with the clay tiled shingles and everything, making it look very like kind of palatial. And the other building is like very utilitarian, like short, brick, like flat topped building or flat top, kind of like a ventilation system on top and everything like that. You don't see any windows or anything on it from your sort of inspection. It's kind of hard to tell where Stanton's property ends and starts. You know it's like about 5 acres, but you don't know in like what way that goes out because there's not even a whole lot of buildings near his house. Like the other houses that are near his house are like big fancy compounds for other rich people. So it's kind of hard to figure out where the lines are. But there is about like there are woods that kind of bump up to the back of his kind of compound. They're about they're probably about like 20 yards. It's like probably about like 20 yards of distance. There's like a small, like kind of like backyard patio, like deck situation coming off the back of the house, and then like a large section of flat land, and then woods kind of open up into there. A little bit further into the woods, there's like a small stream that well, it's probably just the river. The river kind of comes through. Here it's kind of it's a smaller point, but occasionally you do see like a boat, like a shipping boat, come through or something like that. He's got a fountain in his front yard.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does the building that's not like the others, does it look like it has a door?
You could probably, in surveying around, there is a door, kind of on the top end where it's next to the main house. There looks like there's a door. You can't 100% be sure what it's made out of, but it's just painted like a flat gray.
Okay. So it's probably not something that we don't necessarily have to reach by like hidden underground tunnels.
No,
or
it doesn't.
something.
It just seems like you can theoretically walk into it. So.
Okay.
Is there anything else I'm missing or that you're looking for? And I can kind of tell you, like, based on the 4, what we get. That's just kind of like what I'm thinking. If like there could be just some information I'm not thinking of.
No, that was the only thing that you didn't say that I was interested in.
Okay.
Everything else, you covered everything else.
Yeah. You can kind of, like, because the way that you had to do, like, you're afraid of being too low and them noticing you, so you're pretty far away. You can see where, like, because it's brick on one side and then there's a gray door, but you're like, okay, there's a door. I know what a door looks like from this distance, but you're a little too far away to make out, like, fine detail on it. Also, you're just a pigeon.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Are we going to want to go tonight, or
You definitely
so it's tomorrow night?
Yeah,
he's
tomorrow
gone.
night is explicitly
All right.
when it needs to happen. So that also gives you
All
a
right.
lot of like. I figure we can definitely bake in some time if you need to like flash back to something. So
Yeah,
Okay, great.
okay.
that's cool. Yeah, at the moment, that's all I got.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else.
Alrighty. Okay, so let's go ahead and move to the engagement. So how do you guys want to, using the information that you have now, what are you guys thinking about? So for those of you who haven't played Blades in the Dark before, there are 6 types of ways of kind of like attacking a facility. What you do in Blades in the Dark is you don't set up the exact way that you get into the facility. You just assume that your characters did a lot of planning, and we just figure out how well that plan happened. And there are 6 types of plans that happen. So there's assault, which is do violence to a target. There's details from each of these that I need to sort of set up the things. And the detail on assault is the point of attack. Deception, which is lure, trick, or manipulate. The detail is the method of deception. Stealth, trespass unseen. The detail is the point of infiltration. The occult, which is engage a supernatural power. The detail is the arcane method. Social, negotiate, bargain, or persuade. Detail is the social connection. And transport, which is carry cargo or people through danger. Detail, route, and means. And so what are you all thinking?
So my Tempest ability allows me that I can push myself to do one of the following, which is to unleash a stroke of lightning as a weapon, or to summon a storm in the immediate vicinity, which is torrential rain, roaring winds, heavy fog, chilling frost or snow, etc.
Oh, hell.
So I can give us a heavy fog cover around whatever building we're going into. So I figure if we want to infiltrate through that door on the low-level building, I can just summon a fog around us. And it might be a little, like, a bit of a weird fog because it's the middle of summer and there's suddenly a fog, but it will also be a very thick fog that they can't see through very easily.
That's fair. I mean, I think also with torrential downpour, you could get away with too. Like, that would be hard to, like, yeah.
I would be a little more concerned for Hato's wings.
That's,
Also, I'm a cat.
That's fair. Those are all very fair arguments.
You know, if we combine the fog with like some explosives to lure them in a different direction.
All right, so we're gonna obscure things with fog, and then we're also gonna blow something up. I like it. I dig it.
Why not?
I dig.
Why not?
Listen, evidently
is this-
Hato likes making things explode. Or at least likes
We have figured this
making
out. This
vines.
is what happens.
It was it was mostly my explosions is I could use lightning as a weapon and thus make things explode. But I would use that ability to summon a storm for the time being. I don't want to like push myself twice and then immediately go in with force stress.
Yeah, that seems
That's
bad.
okay.
Like,
That's
like
okay.
I as the
I've got
DM,
two
like that's probably
Tinker.
not like a great idea.
No,
I've got two Tinker. I might be
Okay.
able to rig up an explosive with two Tinker.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So what is what's the of the categories? What is it?
Yeah.
So
I'd say-
stealth or occult.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Stealth or occult.
Okay.
Because the entry point, I would say, I guess the entry point would be the front door to that building, or coming in from the forest, and then occult is my arcane power.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. So you guys are going to be coming in through the forest, generating fog. All right. Okay. So I kind of go through and determine how many d6 we roll to determine if the engagement goes well or not. If somebody wants to keep up with, as I say, plus or minus Ds, because I was going to get all my d6s out so I can keep track of that myself, but I don't. I only have 2.
I've
We
only
get-
grabbed 3. I can grab more though.
We
I
can
can-
get one for my ability.
Right. So we go ahead and we already have 1.
And then we already had one to begin with. I'm reading the book.
Yeah, you start with 1.
Okay.
So you start with
Okay,
one,
So you guys
and we start with
2,
another one.
essentially, which is pretty good. So, is this operation particularly bold or daring, or is it overly complex and contingent on many factors? Are we doing the explodey, or are we just going with fog?
Hato, that's up to you.
I guess keep it simple, stupid.
Okay, fair enough.
The kiss method.
Sorry, that was in character, Hato.
That's fair.
That was very good.
So I feel like just generating fog and running in, I'm going to give it to you. That's plus 1d.
All right.
Does the plane's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them with their weakest? Is the target strong as this sort of approach, or do they have a particular defense or special preparation for it? I would say they would be at least vague. Like this is a world that's chock full of magic. I would say like a dense fog
I was
appearing
just
in
about
summer.
to say, like, oh my god, we didn't think about what kind of magical security he has.
So a dense fog appearing in the middle of summer, I feel like they would be at least vaguely suspicious of, because this is a world where
Valid.
magic exists.
So that's minus
Yeah.
1. Okay.
Do you have any friends or contacts providing you aid or insight to the operation, or do you have any enemies or rivals interfering with the operation? I don't think.
Oh my god, I just realized that one of my options for friends is a master architect.
Oh.
Well,
I did not notice this until just now.
Mine are very unhelpful. I am friends with a vampire.
I promise I did not pick this class knowing that this was a thing.
you can
I
always
just
say
looked down and went, oh fuck.
we can call. I was just going to call this neutral because you guys don't really have one or the other.
Yeah.
You can always you can keep architect friend in your back pocket for a flashback
Yeah.
if need be.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
All right, so Staten is the Key Run Collective would definitely be a higher tier target than you all, but
Yeah.
this is just
Yeah.
Stanton. This is just his house. So I wouldn't say that he's like just his house is probably like you're not hitting the Keyrin Collective. You're hitting Stanton Slayton personally. So this is a little less. This is not a spit into the Keyrin Collective's eye. But I will say that there are probably some circumstances that make things easier on you guys, particularly. So go ahead and add 1d.
Circumstances, eh?
Yeah. I like giving you things that are nice with an air of dread. So that should be 3d6.
Yes.
Okay. Roll them.
Who wants to roll them?
I'll go ahead and I'll roll them.
Okay.
I've got a 1 and 2 3s.
Oh,
great.
boy.
Oh, great. Great start.
So,
Great start.
yes.
Bad result.
Ooh.
You are a desperate.
Yeah.
Okay, so the key with engagement rolls, I guess, to the audience at home, is that no matter how bad you roll on the engagement roll, you get in. It's just what sort of situation you are coming into when you get in. Hey, Oscar. Sorry, my cat is getting up here. And so on a 3, that is a bad result. You're in a desperate position when the action starts. And so I think what happens is you guys kind of come creeping out of the woods.
They did say something about not coming out of the woods,
Yeah.
right? That was said.
But you are...
So there we go. That was our first mistake.
Yeah, it's like, they particularly... Like, they're like, oh, we've got this big expanse of woods back here. Maybe we should definitely keep eyes on that. So Vine sort of... Like, you guys are kind of staged in the woods. Vine summons up this fog that sort of starts... you get from the kind of the angle that you're at, you can kind of see between the two buildings to the fountain in the front of kind of like driveway sort of situation. And so this fog sort of starts rolling off of the fountain, kind of like when you drop dry ice into a punch bowl, and then like pulls out and just starts coming out in plumes until like basically it's kind of like flowing up and over the house. And then you're like, all right, run. And you guys just start booking it while everyone's kind of paying attention to the thing. And you make you guys are kind of like doing the football run, just as, and you're almost to the house, just as one of the guards comes around the corner. He's like a taller half-elf guy. He's got dark brown hair, and he's wearing his like requisite security guard uniform of like a polo and khakis. And he immediately sees you guys and is like, "Hey, stop!" And it's like, "Stop doing that thing or whatever you're doing. Hey, who are you?" And he pulls up his key. In this world, in conversations, like the stand-in for cell phones and walkie-talkies and everything are basically like the enchanted keys that have message spells on them. So he pulls up his key and is like, "We have intruders in the blah blah blah." And so, were you guys going? What building were you guys kind of you were going into the main building, right?
I was assuming we were going into the different building.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
That was me.
yeah. So
I don't know.
So that wouldn't have been.
I wasn't sure if we were going to go into the mystery building because they said we needed a key card for that.
Yeah, so I have what's called a ghost key.
Great.
I don't know how we want to make it work in this world, because Brian, you did mention in the chat about like ghosts not really being a thing.
Well, ghosts the undead exist, but the
Right.
military police, like their entire job is like stamp out the undead, and they do a pretty
Right.
good job of that. But that doesn't mean that like one operator doing a small, like, as long as you're not trying to, like, the keepers are more concerned with like a necromancer like sacrificing a whole apartment building full of people than they are with like one person who uses ghosts for thieving.
Yeah, so oops, let me scroll down. Where Where's my items? The ghost key is an arcane device that can open ghost doors, which is essentially there's an echo of the entire city across ages trapped in the ghost field. Sometimes a door that in that place can be found. So I wanted to see if I could attune and use my ghost key to get that door open.
Yeah.
Was my thought process.
Yeah. So I think what does the ghost key look like?
It looks like I imagine she actually has just on a ring of keys. And so keys as in door keys, not keys as in communication keys. It's just kind of I like the idea of her having multiple versions of ghost keys, and we'll just kind of be going this one, no, this one, and then picks one and uses that. So it's just kind of I was really into when I was really into steampunk and antique keys and stuff like that. So it's just a ring of antique looking keys, and they're all kind of dirty and bronze, but they all look kind of the same. So even though you're well, those look exactly the same, they have the same teeth marks on each of them. But she's nope, not that one. Can't use that one. Got to use a different one.
Okay. Yeah. So I think what it is
Excellent.
is you guys hit the door and you weren't ready to be in this level of oh shit they're coming sort of situation. Mm-hmm. And so it takes you a little while. You're fumbling with the keys, and finally you find the right one. When you guys get to the door, it is a blank gray door, and there's no handle on it. There's no strike plate. You can tell there's a door here, but there's no handle, no visible way of opening it. And next to the door is a copper plate with a sigil kind of carved into it that's got sort of a faint glow to it. Which is basically magical key fobs is what this is. And so you're
Perfect.
at the one point you just get to the point where you're just touching keys to the key fob over and over and over again. And then finally, it just takes way long. It probably takes just as long as it would have if you guys weren't in imminent danger of being caught. But now you're being harried for the situation. So I would say go ahead and give me an attune. Let's see how this works out. Or I guess you can do something different, I guess. I keep forgetting that in Blades in the Dark.
Yeah,
you tell me what you're
attune,
roll. Yeah.
attune is what I would do, yeah.
Sorry, might be.
Oh, I got a 6.
Oh, fuck. All right.
Woo.
So,
yeah. I got a 6 and a 2.
so
yeah.
what does it look like when a ghost opens a door for you?
So I have a spirit mask that I wear, and it's we never actually mentioned our load.
Oh yeah, I forgot to have you guys do loads.
I say that because I was oh wait, my spirit mask is 1 load. Yeah. But I'm going in with medium load, so that's 5.
Before we get any further, Haru, what's your load?
Oh, I went in with medium load as well.
Okay.
Yes, so did I.
What? All right. I'm gonna call you. All right. What part of your name, or your really long elf name, do you want me to call you by?
Well, I have an alias, which is Vienna.
Oh, okay. I'm dumb. I thought that was the name of your all's crew. Because I was looking at that. I was reading that character sheet wrong. Okay, cool. Vienna. All right, I got it.
We're good.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, good. Okay, Vienna. All right, and Vienna, you're
Everything's fine.
medium, right? You said? Okay,
Yeah.
so everybody's medium. Sweet. Okay, cool. Sorry. Just,
Yeah.
So
anyway.
Yeah. I'm used to running
No,
parts
it's
of
okay.
Blades in the Dark inside of Dungeons & Dragons, so there's parts that I forget sometimes.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Dude, it's fine. It's one of those things where everyone's oh wait, hold on. We forgot to do this. So she has her spirit mask on, which is a half-face mask out of charred bone, and it kind of looks like a cat skull over her cat face. But it has
It'd be weird if it
horns
was
that
some
go
other
up.
animal.
It would be. It's the bones of my enemies.
It's a bird skull. Hato is always uncomfortable.
And so like it has like horns that curl up and over her head. But there's no spaces for the eyes to see through. But instead, it's just like someone took a piece of chalk or sharp stone and like did a bunch of frantic little circles to like indicate where the eye holes would be. And so she kind of like uses that to see through into the ghost field or whatever we're calling it here.
In Dungeons and Dragons, there's literally a ghost field. It's called the ethereal plane where ghosts live.
Yes, I know. I don't know. It was just like, ethereal plane.
Yeah, it's just a one-on-one translation. So ghost field is cooler than ethereal plane anyways, so.
Yeah, one of those things. She can see into the ethereal plane / the ghost field if you're Blade's language, and it's just I think it might be like the ghost of maybe someone who was like overworked in one of like Stan's factories or something like that. But it's just someone. It's just the ghost of someone who was very harried by Stan in particular, and that's why she was finally able to get that key. And it was just like pulling the one out that she needs in particular and like slapping it onto the door for her. And she goes, "Oh yeah, thanks."
Nice.
Finger guns. And you guys can't see this. She just like finger guns at the key panel and the door opens.
Yeah, so like the ghost reaches in and kind of like pushes its hand through where the keypad would be, and like you get what everybody else sees is the so like the Vines like slaps a key onto this keypad. The sigil on it turns kind of like a dull green color, and you hear the door go tsk, and kind of like begin to sort of open in, and then go finger guns. But the ghost like reaches into the wall, turns around, and kind of like looks at the finger guns, is like awkwardly thumbs ups you back, and then kind of dissipates.
Nice.
All right, guys, let's go.
Yeah, you probably need to let's go because you can definitely hear like footsteps coming from behind you guys.
Yeah, I'm not waiting. I'm going.
So yeah, you all rush into this building. I'm assuming also slam the door behind you.
Yes.
Okay, so you slam the door behind you.
We're not shooting the lock.
Well, you don't really have to. Also, I don't know if that would actually do anything. It also might trap you in here forever. Huh, I've never thought about that with how these works. Anyways,
I was thinking about that moment in Star Wars where they shoot the bridge opening mechanism and they're like, fuck.
Yep, exactly.
It's like, let's not do that. Thanks.
But you guys do hear people on the outside like, oh, they went into the building. How do we get into the building? There has to be a key card somewhere. Like, they're definitely like people talking in the back there.
Well, that should buy us a little bit of time, don't you think?
Yeah, just a little bit. So as you guys walk into this
Fingers
room,
crossed.
So the building is, it's pretty wide. It's probably the width of like 2 long horse stables, like a stable on one side and a stable on the other. That sort of size. And the reason I use that analogy is you notice, like, because as you walk in, the lights were completely off when you came in. But as you walk in, lights in the top of the ceiling click on like one by one, going all the way down the row, revealing to you that this is kind of like a long hallway to another door that looks like a normal ass door on the other side, and flanking it like all the way down is like a series of series of sort of like weird compartments that each have like a door with a big window on them.
Lights.
It's also very, like, it's very sterile, very clean. This looks like you guys walked into the middle of walked into a hospital hallway.
Gross.
Yuck.
So you said that there was little compartments going off the sides.
Yeah, there's like rooms on each side of this hallway. Okay. It's like a sets of examination rooms. To like keep with the like there's like rooms on each side.
Oh boy.
Great.
Cool. God, I forgot about Stan.
I know. It's like, I don't know how I could. And I did. All right. Can I like study the room?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can definitely
give it a nice little cursory investigation.
Yeah. What does your studying look like?
I think it's definitely just she's just kind of like she's pushed her mask back up on top of her head since she's not staring into the ethereal plane anymore, and is just kind of like, do the examination rooms doors have windows?
Yeah, they have windows. When you look at them, it looks so. Do you know what the shatterproof glass looks like? Where it's like it's glass, and then in the middle of it there is a hell, I bumped my mic. There's like a web of metal wire, and then glass on the other side.
Yeah.
All of the windows are like that.
Okay, so yeah, like her study is just kind of like going down the hall and idly like looking into the different windows, occasionally trying a door handle.
Okay, yeah.
So
go ahead and give me a study.
I got a 5.
Okay, that's pretty solid. So as you kind of go down the hallway, down this hallway, there's there's 8 examination rooms in total, like 4 on each side. Mm-hmm. And as you look into them, they don't you're expecting, when you look into them, you're expecting like an examination room, and like the first 4 are kind of like examination rooms that would have they have beds in them and cabinets that maybe have some stuff in them. And you could probably at least one of those is probably just not locked. And if you you go inside of that, and it feels like a hospital room, because there are there's like a chart that the chart doesn't have anything on it, but like there's a clipboard attached to the end of the bed. There are gloves and empty syringes, sterile packs of gauze and surgical implements, whole 9 yards. It looks like he's running like a weird small hospital out of his house for some reason. The next 4 rooms are interesting because the first 2 that you come across, they are just kind of like bare concrete rooms that have they're just kind of like bare cinder block walls, a bare concrete floor with like a drain in the middle of it, and there's nothing in it. And so you come to the next 2, and as you're kind of looking around, you go to shake the handle on one, and just this massive gooey tentacle just slams into the window in front of you. And it's kind of like a big, it's like a squid's tentacle, kind of suction cupped onto the actually it's not really like a squid's tentacle at all. Tree frogs? Mm-hmm. You know how tree frogs have big sticky toes? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like one of those, but if it was an appendage that could slap onto a window, like a tentacle.
Gross.
Yeah.
I jump back with a yowl, and then I hiss at it. And then I
So yeah, further examination, when you look into the room, up on top of the ceiling is this clinging to the top of the ceiling, where there's a recessed grated off light, is this thing that kind of looks it looks like, you guys know what a displacer beast is? Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's kind of cat-like. And it's got these two big pseudopods coming off the back of it, but its skin is green and moist. The head of it doesn't kind of come to a cat head. It kind of comes to a more bulbous head with a very pronounced mouth and big bulgy sort of frog eyes. And the appendages coming off of the back of it are much squishier. And you notice that that's the thing that's slapped onto the window. And it's kind of drooling from its mouth, kind of up along the top of its face because it's upside down looking at you. Kind of there's this viscous fluid kind of drooling out of its mouth as it sort of you hiss at it, and then you hear it hiss kind of gurglily hiss back at you.
Gross.
Yeah, it's real gross. You actually notice in the pocket. There's in hospitals they have the little thing where you put the outside of the clipboard outside of the room.
Yeah.
So you pull that you pull that out, and this thing is listed as there's a little printed off label stuck to the clipboard. There's no other information on the clipboard, but it says subject 25.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, is I figured out what Vienna's drive is.
Oh, okay.
Which is break every chain you see.
Oh, no.
Yeah. You know what I'm about to say.
Please don't.
Oh, we're letting this thing go.
Oh, can we wait until we're on the way out?
Well, the other thing I was going to do is I was going to see if there was a way for us to get out without actually leaving the building.
Yeah, I would like to, go through it. And, I mean, no offense to you and your higher purpose of letting things go, but I would like to use it as a distraction if we need to when escaping.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking.
Okay, good. I didn't think you wanted to, completely save it, because I don't think it's going to be saved.
We can free two frogs with one door. It's fine.
So there is, right now, looking at this building, you only see the one door. There's one door that leads out. Now, on the other side, you see another, you see a door at the end of this hallway, but you know that there's not, an outward-facing door on that end. But you also don't know what's inside the building, so. Or in that end of the building.
And I'm more wondering if there's, a door to, I mean, I guess the building, there's no... It's only the one there. I guess the building. There's only the one way in, but also
you said there was ventilation.
There was a tunnel?
Yes, there is ventilation in
ventilation
there.
access.
Yep. It looks like the vents are coming out of you can definitely there's got to be at least one air vent in one of the the examination rooms have air vents. This particular hallway not so much because they're oh, this is just a service hallway. We're not going to climate control this, but the rooms look very much climate controlled. So, there's definitely ventilation that you could, crawl out of or let this thing loose into or, I don't know, release snakes into. I don't know what you plan to do, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
On the way out.
On the way out. Okay.
There's no way I'm going near that thing anytime sooner.
Cool. All right, so what are you guys going to do from here?
Dora, do you know that you're muted?
Oh, my God, I was just wondering what
Nope.
Otto's been doing this whole time.
I wasn't saying a whole lot, but no, I didn't realize I was muted.
Okay,
Thank
I
you.
just wanted to check.
No, thank you for telling me. No, Hato would like to investigate the door on the other end, though.
Yeah, the door on the other end, surprisingly, is unlocked. I'm not even going to make you roll for it, because that door is unlocked. Because they have one very fancy lock, and they're well, if you're in here, you belong in here. So, you guys go in there, and it's basically it's a small office. If you want to go ahead and let's go ahead and investigate the office and not necessarily the door. I'm gonna kind of move that forward so you don't have to roll twice to do something real easy.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to look over the office and survey it, and see specifically what I'm looking for is okay, this is an office. Do there appear to be any sort of other secret entrances or something like that is specifically what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Since
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
go ahead and give me survey.
All right. 1D, not D7, D6.
Rolls a D7, rolls a 7.
7 means reroll.
Rolls a D6, rolls a 2.
Ooh. So I think what happens. Where's my pen? I dropped my pen. Hold on 1 second.
Oh no.
Okay.
Unacceptable.
Yeah. So I think what happens is
We all remember stress is a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because I've got 2 marked off already.
I think you have to declare that you're going to burn stress before you make the roll, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, though, if you guys want to do help, I like the idea of doing the help action after the roll, because I feel like it just makes the help action actually functional. Because sometimes there's, like, no reason to actually help. And so, like, there's no reason to, like, burden people multiple times if they're not going to help. So if you want to do the help action, which is basically you burn 1 stress to add a d6 to the roll, you can do that after the roll has been made.
Okay.
Just floating that here. Going once.
Yeah, I could. I'll burn a stress. That's fine.
All right, yeah, go ahead and roll 1 more.
Okie dokie. That's still a 2.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I was
we're
like,
just not allowed.
Not allowed? No
No.
allowed? Okay,
Nope.
cool.
We are disallowed.
So while you're going through the... Like, what you find in this desk, it seems to have been, like, it's very Spartan in here. There's, like, a filing cabinet, and there's basically just, like, a filing cabinet, a desk with a chair in front of it, and a chair, behind it. And what you find is... you find 2 things. Here's 2 things that you find. You find a kind of like a manifest, not really a manifest, but sort of like, it's like insurance information. That is a list of property inside of the house, like expensive things that are on an insurance listing. It looks like, for whatever, like Stanton keeps like important personal papers inside of, the secure building and not in his desk in the house, because he's probably more afraid that people are going to get into that than he is things getting into here, which is nice for you because you have like a list of expensive things, though like a cursory glance at it tells you that there's not necessarily a ruby, like a big ass ruby is not like listed on there.
yeah, there's no like physical descriptions of anything.
But there's like they do list some things. They're like a piece of art by blah blah blah, helm crafted by blah blah blah, that sort of thing. What you also find is like it's like a little jade beetle that was like sitting in here, and as you kind of like go to pick it up and like oh cool, cute little jade beetle, it like turns its little jade head at you and then like scurries up under and around the desk, and you go to kind of catch it but you can't get it as it kind of like slips under the door and skitters out of there. And I'm gonna go ahead and advance a clock.
Oh great.
Oh boy.
Okay. But yeah, you guys have like
Lovely.
you're like, okay, there are definitely valuables inside of the house. And did we determine? No, we did not determine how Stanton keeps his valuables. But this does talk about a safe, like his like insurance information, because you like legally have to keep it some kind of protected. So you do know that there's a safe full of valuables. You have a way out. There's 2 ways out of the building. You could either hop up onto the roof and through the ventilation system, or there's the door. But there doesn't seem to be a way out of this particular little office. Other than the ventilation system or the door. There's no extra way out. There's 2 ways out.
Okay.
Okay. I'm a fan of going up on the roof.
Yeah.
The cat and the
And
bird are like,
keeping-
yes, let's be high.
Yes.
That's fine with me.
So, Vienna, I don't know if you want to go do your little free willy project or, what have
Well,
you.
I was just gonna open the door.
Right, yeah, I know. I just wanted to say, like, do you want us to wait for you, or do you want us to get up on the roof and you join us?
Well, it'll take 2 seconds.
All right, I'm going to start trying to get the vent open.
Okay, and Vienna's going to go open.
Up. I'm just going to stand on his desk with very little regard to what I'm kicking over, and use that as access to the vent from the
you
office.
can easily get into the vent. I'm not going to make you like try and get into the vent. You are guys are thieves. You have thieved before. You can get into the ventilation system of the building. What I'm worried about is this room with a monster in it. All right. So, So you can just let. So,
I'm gonna completely sideline your game by freeing this monster.
No, it's
I'm
fine.
sorry.
So you can let the monster out, but the monster can't get out into the wider facility. You have to open 2 doors.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So tell me how you do that.
Trying to think if Vienna's the kind of person who would pick a lock or who would kick a lock.
If you need a lock picked,
The door does open inside, so you can't kick the door out. Like, it would be really hard to kick the door open.
yeah, if you need a lock picked,
Yeah, that might be useful. I think Vienna is the kind of person who would kick a door open, but I think that they realize that this door can't be kicked.
So
open.
the thing with the key fob doors is they're not like, there's not a tumbler lock. Well, there's not a visible tumbler lock on them. I would say that you can, if you want to. I'm not saying you can't try and pick the door. It's just going to be, if you're going to pick the door, I would say you're probably in like a risky position to do it.
No. What if I use my tinker to take the door off its hinges?
Ah, shit. All right. Yeah, go for it. Okay, that is. I mean, you guys are in here. They can't, like, I would still say it's risky because you guys are still being harried, and this is taking more time that you could be using to just escape. But yeah, go for it.
I want to push myself because I want this to work.
Do it. I'm not saying no.
I'm derailing the game.
No, you're just adding complications,
let me
which I
mark.
like.
Come on, sidekick. Come on, Dicebot.
Come on, bud.
You can do it.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Prolonged drum roll.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, it seems like a.
There we go. I've got 2 6s.
Oh fuck yes.
That's a critical success. So you take experience because you critically succeeded on risky maneuver, and yeah, you're like, oh yeah, I know how to like. So they are. So the key thing is like you pop the hinges, like you pop the pins out of there, and Vienna like pulls on the door thinking that it's just going to kind of fall off its hinges, and it doesn't. You're like, oh no, I know what to do, and so you kind of like stick like a sponger or something kind of like back in there and kick a little plate that like basically, because what it does is like when you shut the door, it puts through some pins through the locks to keep the locks from actually being able to be taken off. But you like put a sponger in there, you hit a little trigger inside of there, and it retracts those. And so like, yeah, you can just pull this door off its hinges. And luckily, there's no guard standing directly on the outside because they're all frantically searching for a key. Or I think what you do is like you hear somebody on the outside there, and so you pull the door open just a bit, kind of backwards. So like this thing could probably knock it over and get out, but it's not noticeable enough that anyone's paying attention.
Nice.
Nice.
So now you've got to open the door with the weird frog cat.
Now, can Vienna kick that one in?
Yeah, you can probably kick that one in. I mean, yeah, you can kick it in. If you're gonna kick it in, that would be wreck.
That's wreck, which I have no pips in because I didn't take any of the attack ones.
So yeah,
Vienna's just like this.
Well, we're here. I'm helping you.
That's good. That's real good.
Yeah, Vines is like in the is like on the roof.
Vines is
waiting.
already on the roof. Like
She's like, I ain't fucking with this frog shit.
That's fine. So
She has
so
wreck, but she ain't there for this.
1d6, great. I was considering pushing myself, and I'm like,
you could push yourself. That
Not
would bump
yet.
it up to 2d6.
yeah, but I'm like, not yet.
That's fair.
6.
Christ.
Yes!
Nice. Okay.
Yes!
So yeah,
I'm so excited.
So I don't think it was ever really a worry of you guys actually kicking in the door, because I think what it is like you guys kind of like step back since Hato is helping. You guys kind of step back and like in tandem just kick the door like right at the handle, like pop it open, like just crack right through it. It kind of bends the metal out that was the door facing, and the door comes open. And I think what it is like the frog monster sees this, like lets go of the like is the weirdest shit you've ever seen. The cat frog lets go of the ceiling and then like a cat flips over and lands on its feet.
Yes.
And Pseudopod grabs the door and pulls it open as you two like dive into the office and shut the fucking door behind you as this thing like crashes out into the hallway. And then
Good.
Yeah,
I'm so
you guys
excited.
Scurry up through the ventilation system.
God, I'm so glad that worked.
Me too.
3 6s.